Alright, welcome back to NewZeroland. In this video, I'm going to go through all the rider modes on the Energica. So if you hit the set button on the front of your left handlebar switch assembly thing, then it pops up in this menu and you can choose which mode to ride in. I'm going to start it off in standard mode. So standard mode has 185 Newton meters, which is this much. It's almost the maximum of the bike. Standard mode is more for commuting and around town kind of stuff, but it's still an insane amount of power. And there I am breaking the speed limit. Why am I even keeping this in the video? Okay, next is Eco mode, which drops the power down to 160 Newton meters and automatically eases the throttle for you. And you'll see a little symbol pop up with a leaf. So Eco mode is... wait, huh? Okay. Eco mode, huh? Well, how do I get out of here? Actually, this is a great time to show off reverse. If you hold down the front brake and the start button, you'll see the green go symbol light up. But if you hold them again, after a few seconds, it goes into reverse mode, which... Okay, that was weird. Let's see what's next. Ah, wet mode. I have a bad feeling about this. Yep, okay. So rain mode drops the power even more to 120 Newton meters, I think. Less torque means less chance of wheel spin on wet roads. Okay, I hate the rain. Let's try sport mode. This one unleashes the full power of the bike. 200 Newton meters. It even has a little racetrack as the symbol. You know what that means. That's what I'm talking about. Let's roll, Kato. Welcome to Manfield. I came here before a few years ago on the Zero, but the top speed of 160 km an hour and the air-cooled motor just wasn't cutting it. So I waited until I had a more suitable bike to come back. There were probably 100 motorcycles at this track day, and they split everybody up into 4 groups. The racers, the fast guys, the intermediates, and the noobs. Guess which group I was in? Okay, it's not like I wiped out, but Tetsuo is pretty accurate. In preparation for the track, I took off the license plate holder and taped up the brake light, mostly so when I use regen the light isn't pulsing and confusing people. I also removed the turn signals, mirrors, taped up the front headlights. All this stuff probably isn't necessary, but it makes the bike look cooler. And that's the whole point of track days, right? In the end, it's less stuff that could get damaged if I drop the bike again. But alright, you guys came here for track footage. So, what's the track like? The first session was all about learning the turns and getting used to the bike. So I went slow. I mean, I continued to go slow all day, but this one was really slow. So the track is laid out like this. As soon as you get out there, you go into a right-hander. This one's really long and there's some bumps right here. Then a really fun left and right in the middle of the track. Then you have this left hairpin, which I never managed to figure out. Then you have a medium-sized straightaway into another right turn. Pretty high speed straight at the back. Then a super long right. Possibly double apex? I have no idea because I never got that one right either. And then the front straight, where I got up over 180 before hitting the brakes. This video is sponsored by our feature sponsor, Jolly Rancher. And all of these fine individuals.
Toasty.
Well, yeah, so far it's good. This guy's passing everybody, which is cool. I'm getting passed by everybody. Just fine, as to be expected. The bike's doing great. Had a few issues with the front brakes. They're vibrating a little bit under high-speed braking, just because I think because I've never gone this fast before, and so when you slam on the brakes, it's like it judders a little bit. Maybe it's the brake pads. I don't know. Find out. but I ended up just cranking up the regen all the way so that I don't have to touch the brakes very much, and it works out perfectly. It's really fun to just ride just with the throttle. It just means I let off a lot earlier than everybody else, but that's all right. People pass me in the straights, pass me in the turns. I'm getting passed all over the place. So here at Manfield, you can hire a spot in the paddock so your bike can have the best view of the track. Or you can slum it with everybody else in the stables, which is where all the action is. More people hanging out, walking around, checking out bikes, which brings me to the reactions. The reactions to the Ego were more mixed than I expected. A lot of people were excited, and as usual, they had tons of questions. But there were the normal questions about range and power, and then questions about battery safety from people who were more freaked out about it catching on fire.
I'm sorry your actual motorcycle blew up.
Oh, that's okay, homie. That's just what motorcycles do.
The guy running the event told me electrics aren't even allowed at a track up north because they're too dangerous. And if you crash and the battery lights on fire, we don't know how to put it out, so we're just gonna let it burn. Just in case anybody involved in motorsports wants to know how to put out a lithium battery fire.
Water has been identified as the best extinguishing agent and cooling agent for lithium-ion high-voltage battery fires.
Just use water. If you have a water truck or a fire hydrant at the track, problem solved. Later at the riders meeting, same guy said, if the electric bike crashes, nobody pick it up because the frame might electrocute you. Wasn't it supposed to be on fire? So there's a serious lack of education around electric vehicles. And it makes sense because nobody's had to learn this stuff because nobody's had these bikes in New Zealand until now. But they're engineered really well and they're a lot safer than people realize. Remember when I dropped this one and didn't get electrocuted? I get it though, new things are scary. And people don't like new things because there's a threat that they might lose their old things. But it's 2020 now, guys. What kind of bikes did you think would exist in the year 2020? The same ones from the past 100 years? No. Why not try something different? Even better, fueling up for free using my Tesla UMC. I tripped that earlier because I cranked it up to 10 amps, and so I turned it down to 8, and it seems to be pretty solid. I'm at 50, yeah, it's going slow, but it's fine. My range at 50%, 27 kilometers. That's like 20 miles. Yeah, race pace. Not bad, it's got a little bit more to go. Yeah, just a little bit. This guy though, race bike. Oh, it runs now.
Runs now.
Totally fine. Yeah, communicating. I was able to charge up to 55% because there was an accident, so unfortunately, but fortunately, I get some more range. Although right now it says my range is 35 Ks because we've been going fast. Finally taking the bike where it belongs. This is where the Ego is meant to be, and so far so good. Handles amazingly, acceleration's ridiculous. Alrighty, ready to roll. Oh, my visor's covered in bugs. If you're curious how much energy I used, each session was about 15 minutes, and those 15 minutes killed about 20% of my range. Then I'd come back to plug in and had about 40 minutes to recharge as much as I could before heading back out. Usually 40 minutes would be plenty of time, but I was sharing a super underpowered outlet with someone else's tire warmer, so the charging speed was torture. We're talking 5 amps. I could only regain about 10% before the next session, so as the day went on, I got lower and lower. Cranking up regen to the max helped, but that also heated up the battery. So I think a combination of using full regen and being really hard on the throttle at low voltage got the battery into the yellow, but I didn't really notice any power difference. I was still able to accelerate just as fast as I was earlier in the day.
Yay! Track day!
Track day! We didn't crash. It was great. Alright. Heading back to Wellington. Successful racing day. Track day.
We didn't crash. That's a win already.
Yep.
We went faster than we were this morning.
Yeah.
Here's another win. And I discovered that 100 HP is not enough.
I got to charge for free, which is cool.
Yeah, pissed a lot of people because what did it say?
Oh yeah, they're just tripping all the time, and everybody's tire warmers were turning off.
Yes. Hey, you with the electric bike. Bike is killing us.
Well,
yeah, haters.
Join me. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys next track day.